Wonderful family. Another glorious day and another beautiful opportunity to share the word with you. Hallelujah. Have you been there? Seems as if you're getting it. And then it seems as if the lights are turned off. Almost there. And everything seems to break down. What do you do? Do you ask yourself questions that, what have I done to God? I thought God gave me this. I thought God said this. Is that what you say? Is that what you ask yourself? Those situations come to all those who are getting the attention of the enemy. It means that there's something you are doing that is provoking him, and that if you continue on that course, victory is yours, and he's going to be sorely defeated. So he tries to tackle you before time. He did it several times in the life of Jesus and the disciples. Why do you think he caused that storm? Or who do you think caused that storm when Jesus had told the disciples, let's go over to the other side? It was the devil. It was the enemy. Why? Because Jesus was going to deliver the madman of Gadara. A great and mighty deliverance. Who do you think caused that little boy to fall down and trash and wallow when Jesus and also when the disciples had tried to cast him out? Just before doing it, it was the devil. He did everything to try and convince them in the physical as if they had failed. And in the case of the disciples, they believed him up and above what Jesus had told them. Remember, Jesus told them that he has given them authority over all the power of the enemy. He says he has given them power to cast out devils. Was it that Jesus lied when they attempted to cast out that devil from the boy, and the boy fell down and wallowed and pined and trashed as if all hell had broken loose? No, all that was a ploy of the enemy to walk on the flesh, to walk on the outward, to walk on the appearance. Because he knows that most of us are flesh ruled. We walk based on what we see and what we hear, instead of walking by faith, instead of walking and ignoring what we see, but going based on what God has said. If God said it, it is. Despite how it looks, despite the storm, if he says come, you come. You walk on the water despite the storm. It's if you pay attention to the storm that you start sinking like Peter. So if when you get to that stage, that the deliverance is just almost there, or it seems as if it's almost there, and then suddenly they come and tell you, why bother the master? For your daughter is dead. That business deal has died. Oh, everything crumbled. What do you do at times like that? He says, finally, having done all to stand, stand. What you're saying on the outside is not the truth. If you know the truth about a matter, no matter what else someone comes to tell you about it, you set aside what they tell you since you know the truth. You don't act based on a lie that you know is a lie. You act only on the truth that you know is the truth. So at such times, don't let your flesh panic. Do as Jesus said. I've said it over and over again in these recordings. Do as Jesus said. Overhear and ignore. Stop being afraid. Just keep believing the truth that you know. The truth that you know. What did God say before that enemy came in like a flood? Because the Spirit of the living God will lift up a standard against him. As long as you only act as if what God has said is true, because it's true, irrespective of what they've come to tell you, irrespective of what you've heard, of what you've seen, and you just keep on. But God said, and I believe God. God said, and I believe God. This is the truth. What they're saying, or what I'm seeing, or what I'm hearing is only influencing the flesh. But it's not the truth. The truth is that God said this, and that is it. I believe God, and it shall be unto me even as he has said. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. The truth, the truth, the truth. Thy word is truth, O Lord. If you stand on the truth, that circumstance must bow. If you refuse to accept that lie that is coming, it's dead, leave it. It sounds so plausible, so acceptable, so it appeals to the flesh. But we walk by faith and not by sight. The weapons of our warfare are not fleshly or carnal, But they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, those things that try to take root in the mind. They've told you something negative, an evil report, because the aim is for it to take root in your mind and steal your joy. But you use the word to counter it and tear down those strongholds, uproot them, replace it with that truth, and then your heart will be established with joy, and the joy of the Lord is your strength. And you keep saying what God has said. This is what God has said. This is what I will eventually see. If God said it, I believe it, and that settles it. So I call it as God said, not as you say, not as I hear, not as I see. And I tell you, as long as Jehovah lives, because he can't die, his word must come to pass for you. God bless you. Hallelujah.